Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York, Blind. Now, last time Julia Savinsky here was fired from her job as a journalist, although I guess technically speaking she wasn't fired because she was never employed. She worked as a freelancer, but she was basically informed that she won't be getting any more work, and also apparently all of the sources that she used as part of her journalistic investigation of some corporation have been fired as well. So she now says that I feel like my world has crumbled into nothing. I mean, you have every right to. Like, Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. So am I talking through a phone? I wasn't paying attention to the character. Because obviously this is a different character. Well, it isn't clear to me, but I guess from the fact that I don't see the other character, I would have to assume. Yeah, I would love to, but I am on the subway. Far too proud to cry in public, even now. Yeah, so I would assume I'm talking through a phone. And it's stupid, but I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear just to see my reaction, like it was a prank show and somebody was waiting to record me crying. So out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever and wherever you are. That's the most Julia Savinsky thing I have ever heard. Spite as the greatest motivator, huh? Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right about now, to be honest. I just want to stay in my bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcefully evict me. Not surprised, shit. I know that whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another, but this is too much. How much is too much? Let's recap this last week of June 2019. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired, yeah. Let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he has ever made to me. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they are trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me, and they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs were shut down, nobody's replying to my emails, someone has been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes and it worked. I still have no idea who's sending those shitty messages around. I've been asking, but... Listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by some mean-spirited delusional... I said, don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previous were stressful enough. A call from Chicago. Apparently, Dad has bladder cancer. Mom is in hysterics. She would go crazy if she heard about my situation, so I have to pretend that everything is okay whenever she calls. And she calls every day, and she just won't hang up before she offloads all of her burdens on me. And I can't blame her, because we all had to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed, all of my documents, and what little money I had gone. Don't even know when or where it happened, and it's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concentrated attack. Well, to be honest, it very well might be, because obviously, like I would believe, I can reasonably believe that if you made an enemy of a corporation that's large enough, it's totally not out of the realm of possibility that they can actually make your life hell by influencing, by actually influencing the law, for example, the police, or even the government itself, depending on the exact size of the corporation and of their influence and of how wealthy they are. But even that is, I would believe to a certain extent, it might be true even in the real world, because obviously lobbying is a thing. I guess lobbying is more about groups of interest rather than exerting pressure on a particular person. But if you were a threat enough to a large corporation, I can entirely believe that they would do everything in their power to destroy you before you destroy them. But that is doubly true for the World of Darkness, because obviously one of the shticks, one of the themes of the World of Darkness is how the mortal society is run from behind the curtain by creatures that regular humans don't really even know that they exist. So, some shadowy figures, pulling the strings of those big corporations and of governments themselves are totally not out of the question for this kind of setting. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always hand-wave this topic away, but you just might remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to get through it alone. So, is she my girlfriend? Is she my sister? Is she my friend? Like, I guess it's kind of vague for now. I do. I've been a trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I might be, but I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. I will, thank you, and see you. I put my phone away, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever my situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel a bit like a child cosplaying as an adult. Should have just followed the dress for the job you want advice and continue dressing up like the trust fund kid who keeps partying on the Brooklyn rooftops for years without care in the world. It's only after a while that I realize the car is empty, unnaturally so. I start feeling uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. Oh, wow, that's a pretty weird looking woman. Because like, this can't be Shadow, right? Shadow wouldn't present like that. Like, she would have to stand behind some kind of a, I don't know, a metal rail, like behind like some kind of a grate or something, behind bars. And even then, like, there is a bar here, but this, like, she would have to stand in a very particular place for shadows to be cast like this on her face. So it seems almost like the darkness is like clinging to parts of her face in a somewhat unnatural way. And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to, I'm out of the subway, standing in a back alley I don't recognize. This effect actually returns from Coteries of New York. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting, and I try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet, it's not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't fully make out her face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous, her tone hateful and mocking. Aren't you a nasty one? What is going on? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. I look at the ground. There is a body riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it was. Is it my boss, maybe? Oh, no. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonov, one of the double spiral whistleblowers, my source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can even feel the tiniest bit of compassion, I feel a terrible realization. They will think I am guilty. Oh my god, am I guilty? How is this real? What happened to him is irrelevant. Like, I guess that he's dead is the most important point. At this point, how he died is I believe, of a second-hand importance. What have you done to me? You have done something to me, haven't you? Back in the subway. That was you, wasn't it? A man is bleeding out at your feet, and you're turning this around on me somehow. I haven't done anything to him. Again, don't play coy. You knew him, he was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad, things escalated, and he died. This isn't true. It's plausible, but that doesn't make it true. Or does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living in it. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet, but I will do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is murder in the first degree with special circumstances. A detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassured me that this can't be real. I refuse to believe that it is. Before I even managed to think it through, I point the gun at her. If I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You would be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I am a psycho. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive. This doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because sometime one has to confront what they are really made of. There's no two ways about it. She's gotta be nuts. Slowly but surely, she starts walking towards me. Stop right there or I will shoot. Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? It's the only way you can survive. But you will definitely prove you are a monster I claim you are. What the fuck is this tone? So controlling, inauthentic, and patronizing. I am serious. For your own sake, you better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I will just wake up. Or maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. Well, to be honest, in this situation, I would probably run. Because, like, for all I know, I could have killed him. I could have had a psychotic breakdown. But if I didn't, then by killing her now, I would still become a murderer. And it doesn't feel like maybe the game has not described it properly to me. But from the looks of it, from how I interpret it, it doesn't feel like she's necessarily trying to hurt me, or even if she is, she's not acting. She's acting in a very deliberate and slow manner. It's not an abrupt situation. It's not like she lunged at me, in which case you would be excused for firing, as a rapid response, as an instinct almost. But she's just slowly approaching me. I feel like in this situation I would have just run, because I don't think shooting at her is going to accomplish anything. Like, even in the sort of confines of the real world, I don't think it would be the best choice, but especially doubly so in the world of darkness, because I have a strong suspicion she is in fact a vampire, and obviously she wouldn't care even if I shot her, but I'm not going to. I won't shoot, just help me. Please help me. I will. She yanks out the gun out of my hand with ease. Her strength is horrifying actually, and turns it against me. Then she pulls the trigger. Oh, well, I guess she did want to hurt me, but that's irrelevant because as a player, I have a strong suspicion that shooting at her would have done nothing, and it would probably still end in the same way, because I imagine this is the point where I get embraced, and by that I mean the point where I get turned into a vampire myself. And obviously this event has to happen in all of the playthroughs. With a gaping hole where my heart used to be, I fall down onto Antonov's body. If this comes as any consolation to you, if that's the way you are, there is no chance you were ever going to amount to anything. I have just hastened the inevitable. You're a lowlife, not even worth drinking. I'm just angry at myself for wasting so much time and resources to give you a second chance. Tierra wanted me back in Chicago as soon as possible. She will have to wait a bit longer. Oh well. Oh, so is she disappointed that I didn't shoot her? Was she looking for a particularly fierce person to embrace, and now she's disappointed because to her I came out as a weakling? I have no idea what she's talking about, but I am in no condition to care anymore. The comfort of death will come for kind and kindred alike. Oh, really? Really? So it was one of those choices. Well, I will present the full credits once I finish the game, quote-unquote, the proper way. I guess I just died. I could have ended it here, actually, it would be kind of hilarious, but I did pay for it, so let's at least see where it goes. But, to be honest, I find it kind of annoying and almost, like, because it's a false choice, essentially, I guess. Because one of them straight up leads to a game over. Well, so I guess I have to shoot her for her to consider me worthy of being embraced. Oh. Okay, so I have to get to that point again. So obviously, because it didn't even save, it didn't even save my progress, so obviously I will skip it, so see you in a moment. Okay, so I'm here again, and apparently I have no other choice but to try and shoot her. So let's do it. I close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I have done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily puncture a hole in the fabric of reality. Never knew I would be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke. You were right choice after all. I am so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you've crossed the line that I needed you to cross. There is a silent flame in you that could become an inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hands around my waist, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand, but I am too dazed to protest. This was your final test. Congratulations. You have proven yourself worthy. I can feel something sharp sliding into my neck. It's not too painful, just startling. Think of a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then it hits me. Pure bliss. The dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried up until now suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I have never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It's such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge at least, washing away all of my fears, all of my sorrows, all of my anger, all of my pain, and all of my ego. I become one with the world and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in the world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense towards her, something I have never felt before. Is it love? I hope it is. This is not you, hisses a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh please, don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah, praise be. When everything is a cliché, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia you've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope you are doing fine. God, shut up, just enjoy it. Well, to be honest, it's kind of surreal, because I'm essentially getting killed, right? Because that's what embrace is. To embrace someone, the vampire has to first bleed them dry, and then feed them their own vampire blood. So I am essentially having my life slowly sucked out of me, but it's still an ecstatic feeling for me. You finally understand. She's making love to me, she's giving birth to me, she's burying me. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance for a moment somehow. And then I am alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realize that whatever this was, it's over, and I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper which concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you're a monster. But you were lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so do not ever mourn the fact. Embrace it. Well, so I guess this was the intro, and here comes the title card. Once again I find myself in the Big Beat Burger. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognize, mood the same as it ever was. Still, I process it differently in a different way. It all frustrates me now. Or more precisely, it makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. It's the same with the cigarettes. I don't need them anymore, so why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell. It's like I refuse to accept that I'm something better than I used to be. A vampire. Just 2 nights ago I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire, and me her child. Last night she taught me the basics of survival, drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling the shadows. Oh, so I guess I'm a Lasombra. That's one of the vampire clans who has the unique discipline of obtenebration, which is basically what it says here. The control over the shadows, and I think they can actually enter some kind of a shadow realm, but I don't have intimate knowledge of how obtenebration works. You know, I have never played that much vampire, and even when I did, it has never been as a Lasombra. And but also, incidentally, Lasombra also have like one of the folkloric banes, in that they are the only vampire clans who they don't have a reflection. The reflection doesn't show up on mirrors and stuff, and I think they also don't show up on cameras, which might be useful, kind of, but it's also obviously a dead giveaway. So it's very dangerous for them to to be in a situation where a human could notice the fact that they have no reflection, because obviously, first of all, it's mildly suspicious on its own, and second of all, it's already consistent with like the mythology of vampires. So if somebody has a vague clue about the occult, they might connect the dots. Tonight I expected more lessons. Instead, she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. "What's the catch?" I asked, to which she responded, "I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment." Well, that's at least a very straight way of putting it, which I kind of appreciate. You know, this no bullshit, no strings attached statement of, you know, you're only alive because I allow you to live, and if you disappoint me, then I might very well kill you. There are a few rules I have to uphold. I have to uphold the Masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't anyone realize I'm not a human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want, but for some reason, the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere. Even now, the way I understand it, tomorrow is the night she's supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Turns out, they are the ones who have been systematically ruining my life lately. All part of a secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagining the reach they have makes me dizzy. That's interesting. I could have sworn I remembered the Lasombra being like firmly part of the Sabbat. So I guess my sire has to be a Lasombra anti-tribu, which means that she's, you know, that her sect affiliation is different from the most of her clan. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her test left some scars that will take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should be grateful. I am snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his french fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave permanently. Goodbye, BBB. I hope I never see you again. I'm destined for greater things, you see. Well, apparently I already have 3 choices. The risks of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells like A. a bit of a loser, B. a wannabe intellectual, C. a perfect source of nourishment. Dance macabre. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. The club beckons. Retributive justice. A meathead bully and his unfortunate victim. Perhaps I shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? So I guess I have 3 activities. This feels like it's potentially interesting, because I might, you know, actually try to do something good for once with my new state. Well, good for a given definition of good, I guess. You know, you could say that vigilantism is wrong, and you know there is a very lengthy discussion to be had about it, which I don't feel like getting into right now. I would just say that generally I do agree, but obviously given the situation and given the fact I am literally a blood-drinking monster, I would think this changes the perspective, the context a little bit. And if I can, you know, protect somebody who is weak and who is getting exploited or hurt, then maybe I should, or at least it might be interesting. So let's go into this retributive justice. 2 men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath. People? Anybody out there? I'm being robbed. Oh, really? Be honest, this guy seems like he's the one doing the actual robbing. A brawny, rugged guy is yelling at the metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. Ah, right, okay. so I guess he's pretending to be robbed for the specific reason of somebody coming down the alley to help and then getting robbed himself or herself. With a lively step, he dances around the older man who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk. Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like Moithe? Well, probably you read it in some kind of a very specific way, but I have no idea. Starts prancing around like a boxer. He's smiling, but his eyes send a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You might be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You've got some moves on you. You're like shit. You're like Black Mamba. Lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man definitely has got energy to spare. However, I am like a king cobra. You've met your match. Two apex predators now locked in a battle. Oh, so you're seeing snakes. That would explain some things. Before he is able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about, a fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Some general voices of being hurt. Take a seat, deep breath, collect your thoughts before speaking again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Fair? At least admit that this is a mugging. A wallet, my ass. Still in denial. Okay, let's say he had about 5,000 bucks in there. Give me 6 grand and I will let you walk away, relatively unharmed. So, wait. Is this some kind of a roleplay thing for him? Like, because he's pretending that he was robbed by the other guy, and he's mock forcing the other guy to give him back, quote unquote, his wallet, which I do imagine is actually the other guy's wallet. So basically what I'm trying to say is this guy tries to rob the other guy while pretending that it was him that was robbed in the first place, and he's just getting back his own things. But I don't understand the reason for it, aside from some kind of a sick amusement, because nobody is even seeing that. Like, I guess I am seeing that, but I am just now approaching. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation. This is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go all Anderson Silva on your ass, give me what I want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva. A flying knee meeting your solar plexus. The man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun and Capoeira combined into a single fighting style that can only be described as a straight-up murder. Wait, again, I don't quite get this guy. Is this some kind of a very vague and, well, I guess it's not that vague, but is it some kind of a very roundabout way of threatening the other guy with literal death? I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want this snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013, Las Vegas. What? Huh? Watched it live on pay-per-view. Weidman saw through all of Silva's tricks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, showed him for a fraud he is. The man has not been the same ever since. All of the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drank his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good moment, the goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. When he finally speaks, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. It's a matter of honor now. My thoughts exactly. Huh. He raises his fist. We've got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back the talk with some self-defense skills, homie. Okay, to be honest, take a chill pill. Like, I find this whole situation hilarious, and I don't even entirely understand it, but it feels pretty weird to me. And apparently I've been standing here all of this time in the shadows listening, like some kind of a weird voyeur. Jesus, take a chill pill, homie. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in the blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has at least this much to back up all of his bravado. Wannabe Anderson Silva's face betrays an utter confusion at seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. I felt like I became one with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another as if they were different trains of thought. I think of some experiences I had with psychedelics. Every blink an adventure. I was outside this alley. Blink. I was above the alley. Blink. Now I'm in front of the guy. He pisses me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and just gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. The hell are you sneaking around here for, chica? Move along, this is between men. Not anymore. His fists turn towards me. I'm serious, and an equal opportunity ass-kicker. I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. So you're into shadowboxing, huh? I guess it's a pun on the Lasombra power of obtenebration, right? Is she going to make his own shadow beat him up? Something comes over me. I can feel the darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. I guess it doesn't really matter how I beat him up. Let's go with a kick. Cool, but have you ever watched Karate Kid? Before he manages to respond, my foot meets his chin. The move is absolutely impractical, but I manage to pack so much strength into it that the guy's body reacts as if he has just received a powerful uppercut. Oh, so is a crane kick like... was it like a jump kick? I'm not entirely... I can't really visualize it in my head, because first of all, I don't really know what a crane kick is, but even if I'm not familiar with that expression, with that, you know, I know what a kick is, but the different kinds of kicks kind of elude me in English, but to be honest, they would probably be kind of vague to me even in Polish, because, you know, I've never been in a serious fight, and I have never studied any kind of martial art. If it was a jumping kick, then I guess it would be kind of silly, but on the other hand, if I executed it right, it would also be kind of awesome. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it, and he absolutely should have. But instead, he just flailed his arms helplessly, as if he suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train, a primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely took him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like the gaping maw of some primordial beast. I follow up the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit and then grab him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go. For Christ's sake, just let me go. I kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim. Looks like he's conscious. Wow, you whooped his ass, girl. But he hasn't noticed anything out of the order. Good. I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile will be crucial if I want to survive. You're alright? Need help? He managed to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine. No, you gave me all of the help I needed and then some. Thank you, miss. What is your name? Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole's bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. I'd better be going. My wife is probably worried sick, but before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you... I can rob him myself. Just be more careful. Forget about it. Just be a little more careful in the future, alright? A true heroine always refuses compensation for help. At least that's how I think things should go. Never thought I would help someone in a street fight. There's something else, Jessica. You never wanted to try your skills in the octagon? Too much in love with my gorgeous face to see it bruised, battered and swollen. Sorry. I hear ya. Whatever you do next, God bless you. And there he goes. God, huh? I feel like one right now. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady asshole across the street, ever. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I need to. The future's looking bright. Well, so I guess that was it. And it didn't really involve any kind of actual vigilantism, because that was, to be honest, that was straight up self-defense. Well, I guess... yeah, I guess it was still self-defense, because I'm pretty sure even in the American legal definition, self-defense sort of encompasses defending other people that are in immediate danger. So I didn't really even kill him, because that's kind of what I assumed is going to happen, what with me being a newly turned vampire and having really, not a concrete hold over my powers and over my thirst. I assumed he's going to die or something. But I just beat him up, which I feel like I was entirely within my rights too. So that wasn't even, anything that out of the ordinary, but I feel like this episode was long enough, so I'm going to pause it here. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!